Hi, my name is Misha Calvert, and this is Film on Tape, an audio library of everything that I have learned as a filmmaker. I really hope that this is helpful to you in some way. And if it is, feel free to check out my website, mishacalvert.com. You can see my writing and directing there, and you can also sign up for very occasional emails that I send. All right, on to the show. Today, we're going to talk about how to get investors. I'm just going to tell you how to get them and how to keep them and what to do when you have them. The first thing that I want to tell you about how to get investors, because I've signed on many investors in my time. Small amounts, big amounts, getting bigger all the time. And the first principle that I want to outline is when you come to an investor, even before you speak to one, even before you meet one, this principle that what you're bringing to them is never an ask. It's always an offer. Always an offer, never an ask. That sort of desperation energy. You're not running a charity. You're creating something of value that you are then going to trade for money. Ideally, with the promise that that thing that you've created is going to then generate more money. But money isn't the be-all, end-all. I know that is a paradoxical statement because the one thing that can get a movie made is money. It's actually the only thing you need. It is the only thing you need because you can hire everyone that you need to make that film, and you can hire good people. Even for small amounts. I did it for way too long. So in spite of the fact that the only thing that you need physically to make a movie is money, it's also not the most important thing. You and your creativity are valuable. The ideas that you come up with are valuable. Your craft that you have invested in, whether you're an actor, writer, director, producer, crew member, designer, your craft is valuable and your taste is valuable. Good taste is quite hard to find. So when you are coming to an investor, just remember that you are not asking for them to just give you something. Even with donors, you're not asking for something for free. You're trading, and you're trading something of high value. Your creation is high value, and you need to understand that it is not charity, it is a trade. So, on that note, one of the best ways to get investors is to be very clear about this. Start looking for rich people. Start peeling your eyeballs and just noticing where rich people are. When you spot one in the wild, so to speak. Here in New York, it's easy because we rub shoulders, low class, high class. So just start to even get them on your radar. Where are the wealthy people? Where do they hang out? Where do they spend their time? What do they dress like? What do they smell like? I mean, not to sound incredibly weird, I love how rich people smell. They always smell great. Like 9 times out of 10, they smell great. Like I don't even know where they get their cologne. It just is, it's beautiful. The men as much as the women, it's just like beautiful. And they're dressed usually like just, they look so crisp and new. I mean, not everybody, of course, but I think there's so much to be learned from rich people. And, you know, a lot of this is going to be working through if you have money trauma and associations with rich people. But putting that aside, just be very direct of, okay, where are they in the world, in my city, in my town? And how can I start to become closer to them, to just start getting them into my orbit? I also want to say that you, listener, are rich. But you're rich in other things. We pedestalize money, but we don't have to. Like, you can choose to just see it as one measure of value. You might be rich in time, in creativity, I know you are, in youth, in beauty, in love. I know many people who are wealthy in money, and they are time poor, they are beauty poor, they are creativity poor, and they would give almost all of their wealth away to be young again. That's a crazy thing to think about. So the life that you have right now, in the body that you have right now, in the face that you have right now, with the schedule that you have right now, don't underestimate that you too are rich, time rich. What a blessing that is. What a blessing. And again, it's going back to that trade, understanding that the things that you have, people who are money rich may want. And the things that they have, you may want. And that's a pretty good trade. So again, it's valuing what you have that you can bring to the table. It's very helpful when approaching rich people to partner with for projects to understand what they want. Because in spite of what you might think, they don't always just want to make a lot of money. It's exceedingly hard with short films or even feature films at the indie level to make any money at all. Almost no short films sell. And yet they get funded. So why would somebody with money just give it away knowing that they're probably not going to get it back? There's many reasons. I like to think of them as buckets. And when I'm sitting down with a potential investor, I try to assess as soon as possible which bucket or buckets they are in. So some folks are really, let's say, creativity poor. They have a boring job in finance or medicine or, accounting or something that is not creative, and they are unfulfilled. Their creative side is not getting action. And I, on the other hand, am creative rich. I am overflowing with imagination. I'm a graphic designer, a visual artist. I am a dancer. I was a singer when I was younger. I've been an actor for 35 years, filmmaker, writer, director. It's kind of cool listing all this off because I don't usually do that. So I have a lot of creativity, and then understanding that they may just want to be in that vibe. They just may want to soak up that vibe and vibe with it and just sit with me and feel like they're an artist and kind of soak it in. And that's okay. For them, that's a pretty good trade. They may want to rub shoulders with celebrity. That's another bucket. They're entranced by the kinds of actors that I might have access to, or the idea of walking a red carpet with someone that they have seen in the movies. They want to be associated with celebrities, or they want to have the experience of a Hollywood-type premiere. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a perfectly viable bucket, and I really try to give that to them. If that's what they want, I really try to give it to them and just make them feel involved, make them feel included in the process and in the premiere and in the rollout of the film. Make them feel like part of the family. Another bucket is that they may really want to make an impact. They may so believe in the film, the message of the film, how it's going to affect audiences, the awareness it's going to raise about certain topics. They may not be able to make an impact on that topic in another way. They may not even have the network to do so or have any idea how to do so. But by funding a film, because films get seen, by funding a film about a topic that they care about, they're going to raise awareness about it, and that's really valuable. So now are you starting to understand how your project can have intrinsic value that has nothing to do with money? Now that you know that, where are you going to meet these people? Where are you going to meet these investors? That's the big question. Well, most of them that I have met through work. Whether it's consulting or advertising or when I was in PR or whatever. I would meet these folks in a work environment, And because we were working together, they got to know me and they got to trust me. Know, like, and trust. That's what it takes to get somebody to buy in. So they got to know me over time. They liked me and they trusted me. So it was very easy to then bridge the gap to making a conversation about partnering on a project. You can also meet them at parties. You can meet them at events. You can meet them at film festivals through friends. I've also met some investors through friends of friends or through producers. And that's been really a happy relationship as well. So members clubs, I don't know. I feel like I socialize with more people at work and organic parties. I used to belong to Soho House, but I feel like they kind of look down on strangers talking to each other there. Maybe they don't, but that's just how I always feel weird talking to people at Soho House. But anyway, and there's also many other places to meet wealthy people. You just have to be in the mindset to meet them. You have to want to meet them. You have to be open to it and excited to. And, you know, I always just think of it like going on a safari, like going around to events and like trying to spot a, you know, endangered species. It's really fun, actually. Can I jump in for 1 second and just tell you that I love coaching people? I've been doing it for over a decade, working with high net worths, executives, a lot of actors, a lot of writer-directors, people looking to activate their creativity. I freaking love it. The thing that I like most about it is that we really, really get results, whether that's bringing in 5 or 6 figures more of income, if it's getting signed by a manager or an agent, if it's booking a Broadway show. I have helped my clients do all of these things. You can find out more at clubvermilion.com, or you can always send me an email at info@clubvermilion.com. I would love to speak to you on the phone about it. You can sign up for a free call. So wherever you want to get to, I would love to help you get there. Okay, back to the show. When you are sitting down to talk to these potential investors, you should expect interest, not rejection. So when you're trying to lock it in, right, you want to offer involvement or partnership and make it appeal to whatever bucket you think they're going to be in. You can also ask them, well, what would you get out of this? What would make this fun for you? What would make this a good experience for you working on this project? And then really listen to what they say. And go in expecting them to be interested. Remember your value. Don't expect rejection, because if you're apologizing before you've even started the pitch, that's never going to fly. And these people hear pitches all the time. They will have heard pitches for many years, and they will probably have pitched as well. So, you know, they're adept in this sort of sphere, and you want to make sure that you're a little bit practiced in your pitch as well, and not just doing it for the first time when you're finally face-to-face with somebody who might come on as an investor. You want to have practiced with your friends and ideally with strangers. Also, make sure that your pitch is scaled. You want to know for your project, you have a 10-second pitch, a 30-second pitch, a 1-minute pitch, and a 3-minute pitch. And that's not just arbitrary numbers. That's because those are kind of routine categories of conversation that you will find yourself in again and again and again. And once you've pitched your film idea enough times, or your pilot or whatever, you will find that you can scale to any size. You can be real quick about it. You could talk on and on about it. And that allows you, like, it's basically like memorizing the script of it. Although I don't recommend memorizing something rote. That gets very boring and is very robotic and weird. But once you really know about the thing that you want to make, and you can sense that you only have about 10 seconds to get it out before they walk away, you can do it in 10 seconds. Or you sense that, oh, suddenly they want to hear more. Oh, and they are like looking at me like they want me to keep talking. Okay, I can keep talking. So if you're memorized and you're comfortable and at ease with the material, you can then read them and focus completely on, okay, where are they at? Where are they at? Where are they at? And you don't need to just plow through a 3-minute pitch when really they only wanted the 10-second. You know what I mean? So you're going to want to be able to scale your pitch, and then you also want to have your materials ready. Now, I'm someone who takes a while to rewrite a script. I can churn out a first draft really fast, but subsequent drafts, I don't know, I feel like I actually have very few scripts that I'm really, really happy with. I have a lot of first drafts and not a lot of like fifth drafts. But that being said, I have great decks. Logline, deck, summary, synopsis, treatments. So I have that. I have my materials ready. Because if you find the right investor and you're talking to them at a party and they say, great, email me tomorrow. Here's my assistant's email. Send it tomorrow. I want to look at everything. That is your time to act. Not 3 weeks from now when they may be at their, who knows, second home or whatever. They may have lost interest. Things move really fast for some people. So just because it's important to you doesn't mean it's important to them. And 3 weeks is a long time. So you want to be sure to have your materials ready to share and strike while the iron is hot. You want to send while they have expressed interest and asked you to send, right? So these are my tips on how to get investors. Remember, it's an offer, not an ask. Never an ask, always an offer. You are valuable and your creative material has intrinsic value. You want to find people who can afford to invest. You want to befriend them. Ideally, populate your network with people who have money and just start to fill your network with some of these folks so that you become comfortable in these environments. You can meet them at work, at parties, out and about. And when you approach them, expect them to be interested. Don't expect rejection, but also be okay if they pass. You're going to want to have multiple lengths of a pitch, and you're going to want to have your materials ready to send. And if these strategies worked for you, I really want to hear about it. Send me a DM. Let me know if you were able to sign on an investor based on this podcast episode. I really, really hope so. That would be so cool if some of you got your films financed after listening to me tell you how I have gotten everything financed. You also ideally have an entertainment lawyer, but that's another episode. You're going to need a contract of some kind, but I will do a whole other episode on contracts just because it is so important. But for now, these are my tips on how to get and keep an investor. It's been so wonderful talking with you. Thank you so much for listening. I love talking about how to get your films financed, how to take your career into your own hands, and I love you too. I love everyone listening to this podcast. I love this community. You guys are so great and so enthusiastic and activated and motivated and curious. So thank you for listening. Really, it really is a true pleasure to be here speaking with you and sharing what I have learned. I'll see you next week. Thank you so much for listening to Film on Tape. I really hope that it was helpful to you in some way. And if so, please feel free to leave a 5-star review so that other people know this is a good podcast. If you want to check out my work as a writer-director, you can see it at www.mishacalvert.com or drop me a DM. The best way to get a hold of me is on Instagram at Misha Calvert. See you next time.